All right, fellas, it looks like we're live here. Just looking into the stream on YouTube. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Okay, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Xbox Roundtable Podcast. This is show number 208. As always, it's wonderful to see you all here. More people are filing in as we speak. Naturally, I'm your host, Invader, and we've got a number of things to discuss. There's some info leaked out regarding PlayStation's Game Pass competitor. We'll certainly dive into that, as well as some big shakeups going on over at EA's DICE Studios. We'll give you all our thoughts on that and much more. But of course, let me introduce everybody first. And first up, we got General MLD. Buddy, hey, how's your weekend been?
Hey, it's been pretty good. Just finished some games off the old backlog. Just beat Saints Row 1. Surprisingly pretty good. And now we're just started playing Stardew Valley. That was just added on Game Pass. I never played it before, but boy, am I sucked in. That is a great game. It is so deep. I can't wait to play more of it.
No doubt. No doubt. I've heard a couple of people get sucked in like yourself. It's amazing, you download a game, you think, oh, I'll just have a little bit of fun with it for a couple hours, give it a test, and then you're addicted just like that. So surprising what those little games can do, right? So
magic of Game Pass. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I love sample. I got just the other day. I downloaded the new Warhammer title that appeared in Game Pass.
So many freaking games in Game Pass.
You got that right, Tim. Oh man, it's insane.
Don't end. This even that Generation Zero game where that game I heard is like kind of fun, or it could really catch you in, and they're gonna get Mass Effect. It just doesn't stop. Like honestly, it's pretty impressive what they've done the last, especially months.
And somehow I gotta fit in Alien Fire Team somehow in between Halo and Stardew.
Yeah, okay.
Oh my god, it's too much.
Yeah, it's a co-op game actually. We should all download it and try it out over the holidays sometime.
Oh yeah,
that'd be cool. But
download it. I've been playing the hell out of that game here in the past few months. Me and my buddy have been waiting for the new expansion. We're excited to jump back in it.
Oh, I didn't even realize that there was an expansion coming out for it. So,
the game, Aliens Fireteam Elite, they really wish that there was a lot more launch content. But I forget the team's name, but when it came out, a few weeks later, they released a new character, like the Shield class, because there is classes to it, and it kind of got stagnant after you beat the main campaign, and we knew that they were going to have the next, basically, I don't want to say season, but they're basically releasing content in blocks, and the next content is here on the 15th, if I'm correct, where instead of it being like a horde mode, they're adding like a point defense.
Oh, nice. Well,
I gotta try that game out.
I gotta try it. Like, I'm an Alien fan going back, so
Oh, like I said, you got to get a good team going, and everybody has to play their classes and know their role. Like especially doing horde mode, bringing turrets and actually being able to put up a pretty good defense. Because I mean, like, it could get overwhelming, especially on the higher difficulties. And also, the game is constantly pushing you. Like, there was points where it's like, hey, I'm gonna go grab a soda, and you come back and you get on the headset and everybody's like, dude, you gotta like hurry up now, man. The game does not like the fact we're standing still, because it would just start sending more and more enemies your way to keep you progressing through the game.
Huh. Well, I'm sold.
All right.
I'm gonna definitely try it out too.
Damn, I gotta make some space for it. All right, I'll give it a shot just on your word since you're in.
Hey, I'll play with you guys. It's definitely a lot more fun with friends.
Well, can you play solo?
Can you play with
You
bots?
can. Yeah, you have Alpha and Beta, your two buddies that help you. They're like the androids from the first few movies, the guys that would bleed the white blood. So you'll have two androids if you have no friends.
That's nice.
Oh.
And the graphics are good?
And sometimes you wish they were a little smarter.
Is the graphics good?
I like. Well, okay, the graphics are all right, but I will be truthful. Like big letdown when during like the dialogue times, they don't move their lips. It's literally of the character, and like the character kind of just standing next to a text box, and you read the text box, but you can hear them talking the text, but they're not like moving their lips to it. But I think that's because they put like a lot more effort into like the aliens, and like I mean, there's a lot of movement on screen, especially like that moment in the second Aliens movie, Aliens, where they're trying to defend the hallway and they have the turret guns on the hallway, and there's just like all hell breaking loose. Things are coming from the ceiling, the walls, the floor. There is points where it gets that pretty chaotic, especially with the difficulty turned up.
Interesting.
Okay.
Good to know. Good to know.
Good review.
Yeah, you got me sold, Centurion. I'll have to download that soon, and we shall play. Tim Buddy, hey, how's the weekend been?
Well, I just capped off a bunch of work. Worked like a ton of days in a row, or like every Sunday. Every Monday I had off, so I've been working 6 days a week. Just been very tired as far as like just doing the real grind. But it's the holidays. But I'm really excited tonight. Metacritic for Halo and Halo, the campaign. So I'm really excited about that. We got a lot to talk about. It's going to be a fun night, and just happy to be here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you think for the Metacritic, Timmy? What do you think it'll end up at?
Just posted on Twitter. I'm at 86, but I could say I was worried that it was going to be below 84. But I don't know. I'm hearing good things, so it's gonna be real fun. I'm hearing the game's really good, so I want to see what it scores tomorrow. Probably people will nudge it, and it's Halo, but I think there'll be some fanboy scores too that give it like 100. So it's gonna be interesting. Might be polarizing takes too. But I'm at an 86 firm.
Oh, hey, Timmy, speaking of polarizing, our buddy The Downer, Jeremy's in the chat, and he just gave us a pretty big super chat of $19.99 US. Thanks very much, Jeremy. Always great to see you, pal. Halo is back, big baby. I can't wait. Metacritic 87. Good to hear you guys still going strong. Of course, pal. Oh, man. 87. All right. Jeremy's pretty high on it. That's a good sign. I'll say 85. Just for
if it's 85, it beats 84, which is Halo 5. I think everyone would want that at the very least. If this scores like an 83, that's not going to be good, in my opinion. I think that I don't know. I can't see that happening. But 85 beats 84, which is Halo 5, and then 88 or 87 ties Halo 4. So for me, I'm hoping they could get an 89. I think that would be nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, I don't really pay that much attention to Metacritic, but I want to see it do well. Obviously, I want it to be a great game, and like with Jeremy here, I think Halo is back. So I totally agree with him on that, and I'm just excited. And we only got a couple of days away from it, so not too long, guys. Let's see here, Shockley buddy, Eric, how's things at your end?
Yeah, pretty good. Just been trying to jump through all my challenges for Halo Infinite. Had my first kill-tacular, so that was pretty cool. That's 5 kills in a row. Well, 5 like in a quick succession. I was trying to get as far as the that if anyone saw that sniper shot where I think he took out. They lined everybody up, and it was like I think it was like 23 kills where they got 23 kills in like a few seconds. I think it was in Japan, or for one of their videos that was going around on Twitter. But I was like, oh crap, I didn't even think they had labels for that high. But it was cool to see Jason Ronald. They finally updated that patch for one of the backwards compatible titles, the Mortal Kombat from 2011. They finally fixed out that bug where you actually get all the characters, because it was supposed to be the complete edition, but for some reason you weren't able to get the DLC for the past couple weeks, so they finally made good on that. I thought they totally were just like gonna forget about it, but it was cool to see that finally, since it's backwards compatible now, and you have all the, probably I would say people's like what people call is like their best version of the of all those characters that they remember before they kind of changed them more to like a 2021 vibe, PC vibe going forward.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool to see, like, because that one had like packed pretty much every character, whereas like the newest one I think is still missing a couple fan favorites that this one had. So, but that was cool to make them, basically have them make good on it. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I didn't notice that. Jason Ronald updated us on that. Good to see them keeping the word and following through with the backwards compatibility and the issues that were happening with that. Yeah, no, that's cool, Shockley. Moving on, Centurion Pal. Hey, I know you're working hard this weekend. How you been?
Doing pretty good. It's Sunday night. I'm ready to chat about some games with some amazing people. I'm totally stoked for tonight's topics. Game Pass just keeps getting better and better with all the content drops. I'm drowning in a backlog from hell. Can't quit. I am not able to stop playing Guardians of the Galaxy. That has pretty much put all my other gaming on halt until I get to Guardians. I can't put it down. The game is actually very well done. I'm enjoying the story. There is a lot more to this game than I thought there was going to be, so I'm always one to admit I was wrong. I was burnt by the Avengers game, and I held off for the launch of this game, and now that I've picked it up, I definitely was like, man, I wish I would have picked it up day one, and I would have already grinded through it, but other than that, told you guys in the pre-chat that I also grabbed Jack and Dexter over on the PlayStation side because that's on sale, the whole bundle. Great group of Naughty Dog games that I enjoyed playing on the PS2, and that's pretty much all I've been doing for gaming right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's cool, man. That's very, very cool. Yeah. I mean, it's just lots and lots of stuff. Like you said, Game Pass, lots of stuff entering the service, lots of stuff to play. Man, like, I hate to be sounded like an advertisement for Game Pass so much, but they really just keep knocking it out of the park with a lot of their latest additions. Never a dull moment on Xbox. They are killing it. But before we begin with the topics, guys, reminder to everyone that you can find TXR on a wide number of audio platforms. We're on Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and so many more. As well, check us out on a number of alternative video platforms such as Rumble. There's lots of options for your TXR on the go, guys. We are everywhere. We're taking over the space. What can I say? But on that note, guys, let's move over to the first topic. And it looks like Sony is preparing to unveil its answer to Xbox Game Pass. According to a recent report from Bloomberg, PlayStation is working on a service codenamed Spartacus. For a monthly fee, consumers can play a selection of modern and classic games. It's reported to launch sometime this coming spring. I mean, who knows, maybe, that could be anything from March to May, like, We'll see what happens with this, but it doesn't seem too far off from the sounds of things. MLD, buddy, my very, very opinionated friend, what's your take on this leak, and does this compete with Xbox Game Pass at all?
Oh yeah, this is a doozy of a topic here. There's a lot to cover. I mean, first and foremost, it says that, well, all the naysayers of Game Pass and subscription services in general for gaming, those narratives have surprisingly and magically just vanished now that they seem a little more mainstream now with Sony like upping their game. Shows that Game Pass, the model is working, like it's giving the Xbox a lot of success, and Sony wants a piece of that. So, hey, they're doing it now. So, but you look at it, I think PS Now has been around for a long time, several years now, and it just hasn't caught on. Like we all know that Sony just hasn't put in the most effort into growing it, and that's why it's only at 3 million subscribers. So it looks like they're gonna phase that out and just stack it on top of PS Plus, the service that does work for them and is successful for them, and just like chop it up into a couple tiers. Like the first of the 3 tiers is PS Plus, like that stays the same. The second one is what, PS4 titles with PS5 ones eventually. Now that's very telling. That means that PS Now to this day has no native PS5 titles. Game Pass has had Series X optimized titles since day one. So even then, when this launches, you're not going to get PS5 titles, especially not day one. So that doesn't really make me worried as far as a competitive standpoint goes. But then the third tier, and this one's interesting, you get game demos, streaming, and the PS1 to PS3, PSP backwards compatible library. And here's where, in my opinion, it gets a little bit shady. For one, only the top tier, they're basically charging for backwards compatibility. And we don't even know if these are streamable only or downloadable titles as well. So it's a little bit shady that they're putting these games behind a paywall, these legacy games, whereas with Xbox, you got frame boost, or if you have an old game, you pop it in and boom, it works free of charge. And even the game demos, I mean, compared to Game Pass, you don't get game demos, you get the entire game. And if you use XCloud, you can play the game off the bat without having to download it. So it makes the demos a little bit redundant for Xbox. But overall, it shows that Sony like is starting to care. It's a step in the right direction, but feature for feature, there's still no contest. Like there really isn't. I mean, I'm not even like there's even EA Play integration into Game Pass. And of course, that day one first party, you can't compete with that. If Sony isn't doing day one first party, this service is just a rebranding of PS Plus, in my opinion. It still has a ways to go to match it. But at least they admitted that game subscription services are on the rise, and they're going to be the future norm of the industry. So that's what I think. But overall, good for them for trying.
Hey, I mean, according to Jim Ryan, that's something that again will hurt the game industry, right? That it just doesn't make much sense. Wait, what?
Yeah.
That was Jim Ryan, what, like a year or two ago, if I'm not mistaken?
Oh yeah, and of course, none of the fanboys on Twitter or any social media are going to subscribe to this thing because they only buy their games. They don't rent them. So I don't know about Sony here. They're not doing what the fans are asking for. So yeah. Oh, that's funny. There's a big disconnect between the fanboys and the brand. See, like with Xbox, the fans and the community managers, like we're on the same page. Like it's great. Like Xbox executives, they talk to us, they know what we want, they give what we want. Whereas it seems with the PlayStation brand, it's the exact opposite. They are doing exactly what the vocal fans do not want with the brand. I don't know. I just find the differences, but very, very amusing. That's all.
Honestly, I think right now, Jim's in a copy fill mode, and it's not good to lead when you're following behind somebody making decisions. And we all said this. Do you guys remember me? I mean, I said it on RDX, but I think I said it here too. They're going to have their own. I said they were going to have their own Game Pass this year, and I said this like last week because I knew. So the fact is that, and I know pretty much that the only way that's going to compete with Xbox Game Pass is if it goes day and date. And I think that's going to happen too. And there's nothing wrong with that. You could still make money, as Forza Horizon 5 proved, that you could still make money in Game Pass. I mean, like, The Last of Us 3, you have an early edition. Trust me, you'll sell you 5 million. It'll make a lot more sense too for Sony with the future. So to do that, in my opinion. But they've talked a lot of shit, and now they have to eat that shit, and that's the problem. We've been here and been telling you that it's going to go this way, and it went this way. So here we are. That's my feeling on it. I don't think they're going to be competitive because their offerings are going to get demolished by competition. We live in a competition world. When something has something and another thing doesn't, it's talked about ad nauseum. because that's the only thing that's going to ever be brought up. So Sony has a lot to really come up. I don't know how the pricing is. Something tells me Sony will completely screw that up and offer probably more money on the third tier than Game Pass and offer half as much. You have to realize Xbox also has PC. You get everything on the PC too. XCloud. What does Sony have? Remote play? Remote play is your XCloud. That's what Jim Ryan's telling me. I mean, they have PSN now. It's not. It's an okay service, okay, but they can't sell it. The thing is the difference fundamentally from Xbox and Sony is Xbox believed in it and they sold it. Sony doesn't know how to sell it. They don't know. That's not what they do. And it's honestly just because of moves like what Phil and his team did, their vision. You're copying from behind right now. So yeah, I mean, I'm not saying Sony's going out of business, but they're definitely getting their clock cleaned right now when it comes to this stuff. And so are the fanboys. So that's my rant on it. But overall, it's pretty funny because when it was announced, I just some of the reactions that we saw, people that said Game Pass was the end of gaming now are, saying how awesome Sony is and showing pictures of like the Last of Us, so and doing an ad. But that's where we are right now. But it's good for the fans though. They should have something. I just don't think it's going to be comparable to Game Pass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting because the reports here, you guys kind of touched on it, that it's going to be a 3-tier service. Well, the first one will allow access to a bunch of classic games, like for the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, 3, and even PSP games, which is kind of cool. But like they seem to be like kind of segregating different tiers. Like, okay, so you know what? I do have the tiers listed here a little better. So the tier 1 is PlayStation Plus benefits. So I mean, I don't know, that's not really anything too big. Tier 2, access to PlayStation 4 and select PlayStation 5 games, which, I mean, that's okay. And then Tier 3 is access to the classic game library. And with Xbox, I mean, you just get all the games. Like, if you have Xbox Game Pass, not even Ultimate, you just get access to the entire library, no problem. So, I mean, to me, that's just kind of weird. And then Xbox gets the games, their first party titles, day one, no problem. So, and like you said, Tim, like there's no issue with people buying games. Forza Horizon 5 proved that. They were like, it's one of the best selling Xbox.
1.5 million in 2 days. I mean, that's physical sales.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and people are not going to stop buying it. They'll still be buying it. Forza is just getting started. Halo, I wonder how Halo is going to do money wise. I think it's going to obliterate again. What Halo's doing for the Game Pass service, too, on a commercial value and word of mouth is also huge. I feel like Xbox really, honestly, they got an opportunity this holiday, and it looks like they're gonna knock it out of the ballpark. I mean, because if they get a better critic higher, like 88 or something like that tomorrow, it's celebration from the rest of the year on, because that means that they basically were a success. And there was a lot riding on it, and there were times where I didn't think Halo would do that good. I guess we'll find out in 5 hours, but it's just been an epic year for Xbox.
So wait, you saying like by the time we all wake up tomorrow, the Metacritic embargo will be lifted?
Yes.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
3 a.m. 3 a.m. So for me, I'm gonna stay up till 3 a.m. 5 hours. I'm off tomorrow, and I'm gonna sleep the whole day to probably the night to probably the next day. I'll wake up for like 20 minutes.
Wow. Okay. You find
Yeah, that's where there's a lot of the reviews are out by that time. Sometimes the embargo's out, but there's no reviews there.
Yeah, that won't be the case because they usually do a review in session because of the multiplayer to see if the servers hold. But I think that the Halo, I think you'll know Metacritic where it's going to land 4 a.m. You'll know within 2 points. Like either if it gets over 90, man, I just don't understand what it would look like. Like what would people be saying?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna be conservative in my approach with the 85. I think it will do good, but I mean,
Yeah.
you never know. You never know. Centurion, I would love to hear your thoughts on this PlayStation Spartacus leak here. I mean, what do you think about what as far as the reports go, how this service lines up with Game Pass?
Well, I tossed a social media grenade last night for fun, just because I thought I'd have a giggle at it. At first, when I saw the headlines popping up on Google while I was at work, I was like, well, it's about damn time they freaking start doing something. I mean, God, you can only have that much pride. But then as I read what they were going to do, I was like, oh my God, they are that prideful. They really think that they don't need to, I'm sorry. I said this on the Shop podcast last night. I'm going to say it again here. I have personally got into a very heated debate / argument with the person that signs my paycheck about being competitive in a very competitive market, when sometimes they just don't, well, we don't need to do that. No, bullshit, you need to do that. I'm sorry how you feel. Put your feelings aside. When you involve feelings in your business, you can totally kiss off certain things. I'm sorry. I know we need to, at any rate, what I'm getting at is their main competition, Xbox, is not giving them away, but is putting AAA title caliber games. We'll just use Halo Infinite, Starfield for examples. Those are going to be in there day and date. No matter how much pride you think you have or your exclusives do, you're just setting the tone that it is more expensive to game over here. I don't care that it has a PlayStation logo. I don't care that it's a PlayStation Studio. It does not make it an instant blockbuster success. If you want me to be truthful, we all see what you got with the Avengers Spider-Man character. So unless it's a Sony's first-party studio game, you're probably not going to have that quality there. There is quality in Sony games, but I'm always waiting for them to go on sale anyways. I think to appeal to me, or for them to appeal to somebody who's used to Xbox Game Pass, they're going to have to play ball. They're going to have to. I'm very curious on how long they're going to hold out on this, because right now it's a very paltry offering. It basically is kind of trying to copy Microsoft by having the tiers, and you have regular Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate. You have at least 3 tiers involved with this Spartacus program that they're doing. I've even said that it's a backwards compatibility paywall just with a fresh coat of paint on it. There's still, like, I went and bought Jak and Daxter digitally because there's no point in me hunting down the physical discs like I can with Xbox and play it backwards compatible that way. It doesn't happen that way. The big thing that I have definitely said is they need to make whatever they're doing now more competitive. There's nothing there that's going to make me want to feel like I got to own both services. I'm just fine getting the handful of exclusives that they come out with ever so often, and I'll either pick them up on sale, or if I feel it's worth it to pick it up day one, I will. This has nothing to do with me being an Xbox gamer. It just has to be, I'm a consumer. I work hard for my money, and I don't feel like I should just freely give it to PlayStation without them giving me value. And that's where I feel they can do more to add value to what they're trying to do. I've said this before. They need to tap into the Sony production side of everything, whether it's movies, television, Crunchyroll with animation. They have the ability to offer entertainment value that Microsoft cannot with Sony Pictures and Crunchyroll. By being able to offer that stuff, they could just as easily create an HBO Max style platform where you pay for a certain tier. Not only will you get your games and your PS Now, but you'll also get access to X amount of television shows, movies, and at least once a month, whatever hot new movie is in the theaters, if they want to put it on that subscription service, they can do that. Like I hate to say it, but the Spider-Man movie that's coming out in theaters, that would be something that would draw a ton of people to a service like that if we didn't have to go fight the crowds right now, because I've even heard people are starting to scalp the movie tickets for a Spider-Man movie. That's an argument in itself, but at any rate, I feel that Sony could do more to offer more value and to try to create more competition with the service, because in the end, I heard a very relevant argument this weekend on right now, Microsoft is offering the greatest thing that's in gaming right now, and it's called Game Pass. Eventually, it's going to get to that point where they're going to have to raise the price, or if their competition is giving them enough competition, they just leave the price alone. But I don't see PlayStation offering enough competition right now for something like that to not take place. I'm just very curious on how long they're going to hold out on this whole day and date thing on Game Pass. I feel like day and date on Spartacus. I feel like it's going to happen. Just like the whole PC day and date is going to happen. It's just a matter of when.
Mm-hmm. Well said. Well said. Yeah, I mean, I'm very curious to see how this will end up being. Again, this is just a leak, guys. It's not the official word of mouth from PlayStation itself, from Sony, so we gotta take everything with a grain of salt. But again, I mean, this does look like something Sony would do, what they would put out, and we know that they've been working on, again, this Game Pass competitor for a while, because again, we've heard little murmurs about it. Shock Buddy, I would love to hear your thoughts on this. What do you think about PlayStation's offerings here with regards to this leak?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're definitely just seeing more, or they're seeing this success where, like I've told people before, because they said Sony will never go down that road. And I know this one's kind of more of a rebranding, so nothing is really changed in a sense. But I think it's just what they're laying out and what that's kind of indicating, the way they're going about it. But if they see Microsoft making money, they're not going to just be like, "Oh, that's cool. You guys found your own little, niche, a way to make money, since we're dominating the console space." No, they're going to see Microsoft make money, and they're going to want to come and take that too. Just like in that movie, Eddie Murphy movie, Life. It was like, are you going to eat your cornbread? It's like they're going to try to take Microsoft's money any way they can. So they're not going to just sit by and say oh yeah, Microsoft's doing well for themselves. No, they're going to try to take their money too. So but they're letting Microsoft obviously see if this works out for them, see if they can fund big Bethesda games like Starfield, Elder Scrolls, and all that. So if that works out, they might okay, actually, it looks like it can be done. They've laid it out. Let's try it. But I was listening to MVG. He was talking about what he's worried about as far as the backwards compatible titles is, I guess how it works is there has to be trophies for the backwards compatible, or basically for any title on a PS4, PS5. So he's like, I don't know how that's going to work, if they're going to go back and add trophies to all those games that they're trying to bring over the PS3 games. Who knows if that's going to be native? I doubt it, but if that works, I guess their program, they have to go back and add the trophies, just I guess by their guidelines. So
watch it get
we'll
delayed.
see.
Mm-hmm.
I could see. I could see this. This is not easy stuff. They see what Xbox is doing, but I think that they're just caught between a rock and a hard place. To be honest, they don't have the right people. It seems. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see what happens. But there's a lot of technical back end stuff with this stuff. There was with Game Pass.
Well, to be fair to Xbox too, Tim, I mean, they took a while to build the
Took a long
back end of
time,
this.
yeah.
I mean, even with like the XCloud integration too, they're still, I mean, okay, it's integrated, but they're still
They
working
should.
on a lot of stuff.
You're right, but they honestly they just their only way to survive, in my opinion, is to do day and date. Because if they do day and date, then Game Pass is competed with easily. I'll give them that.
Well, those are guaranteed sales for the subscription service right there. I mean,
Yeah.
because everybody knows what the value is there from what they're saving when you're just getting the subscription as opposed to buying these games individually. I mean, that's a huge selling point for Xbox Game Pass. And again, not just on the console side of things, but Xbox also spans PC as well. So, it just depends how much. I mean, we know that Sony has aspirations for PC as well. They've been putting their games over the past year or so on PC. So I'd be curious to see how much they expand this service. Nothing's really mentioned in the leaks besides PS Now and PS Plus and so on being basically merged together. But I mean, Xbox took years. I mean, when did Game Pass first get introduced? Was it 17 or 18?
It was 17. It was. 17?
Or maybe it was
Yeah.
either 17 or 18.
2017. Yeah, it's 2017 because then early 2018, that's when they broke the news that Sea of Thieves and all their future games are going to be in day and date.
Oh, right. But yeah, you see, guys, I mean, we forget how old it is now. That's about, what, 5 years now? I mean, give or take a few months. That's crazy.
I remember that day. I remember I was like taken back. I'm like, wow. That was a huge move by them. And looking to me, it looks like the right move. Like, if you look at subscription service for the most part, they get free content like that, like movie or whatever shows. Like Netflix is like that. So he just offered a lot of value with it, and I don't think that's going to be duplicated with Sony. It's just going to be contested on everything. I don't know. I feel that there's something off with it, and I'm surprised that they really taken this turn. What they're gonna put out though just seems like it's not gonna be on the same level, even close. But I guess we shall see.
Yeah, we
see the.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say I see the Xbox community get a lot of crap because it's always we buy no games, we just wait for it on Game Pass. Well, I'm curious now if it does become a thing where, like, 3-6 months down the road, the game just shows up in Spartacus no matter what. So does this mean that a lot of the PlayStation base is going to start becoming a bunch of holdouts, basically waiting for it to show up in Spartacus?
Yeah, it's inevitable. One way or another.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, again,
it'll probably happen when they go more full PC and have a cloud option, like Microsoft does, because they're going to probably use Azure and, like they already have that partnership, use it for their own, cloud gaming subscription. And then at the same time, once they have it like a client, they're already doing Steam, but once they have like their own client established on like PC on Windows, I think that's when you'll see day and date, because then they can kind of maximize that, net, and get as many people as possible to kind of make up the cost difference.
See, I'm glad you brought up Azure because we all know that they made that deal with Satya Nadella, not nobody at Xbox. They made a deal with Satya Nadella to use the Azure system, and I'm wondering now, is this where they're going to finally implement that partnership and actually use Azure to do this? Because otherwise, are we going to see a huge quality difference between the two systems if they try to use it on the server system they're already using?
That's a good question, actually. But the Azure servers, I mean, they're a big selling point right now for Microsoft, period. It's a big part of their business strategy. So, I mean, if Sony wants to make use of them, I know that they have what was it, a few months ago, they had announced a deal to utilize them. So, hey, by all means, go for it. I mean, that's more business for Microsoft. So, I mean, that's more money that goes towards the Xbox Game Studio division. So, whatever. I mean, that's fine by me. um, but either way, guys. I mean, this is interesting. I mean, we knew that this subscription service was getting worked on. We just didn't know what kind of like how they would go about things, the details and so on. So it's interesting that this is starting to trickle out now, and who knows, maybe sometime early on in the new year we will hear like something official from Sony. But either way, I'm curious. I mean,
Jason breaks it too. It's funny that like Jason, the Sony, he's like the Sony guy.
mhm.
Breaks the story.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of funny too. You know what I mean? That he gets the scoop. You know.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is, Tim. I mean, it is kind of ironic, but it is what it is. But again, we'll be keeping our eyes peeled for news on that. Certainly has my interest. All you guys tuning in and listening, don't forget to hit that like button and to share this out to let everybody know that the show is live. Always greatly appreciate to have you here. Let's move on to some other things, fellas. And there's been some interesting things going on here. And Avalanche, like there's been a bunch of Avalanche Studios games that have gone into Game Pass over the past few months. However, there's a couple of games that have gotten, I guess you would call them stealth drops into the service that kind of make a light bulb go off in my head. It just kind of catches my interest, so to speak. Both Generation Zero, as you had said, Tim, earlier, and The Hunter Call of the Wild, both Avalanche Studio properties, games, they've quietly dropped into the Xbox Game Pass service, joining a list of other Avalanche games such as Just Cause 4, Rage 2, and Second Extinction. Tim, like we often talk about acquisitions and links to Xbox Game Studios. Is this looking like a further test bed and closening between Avalanche and Xbox? Because again, it's just more of these games entering the service.
I think all that's going to matter with that is to see how it is how it is at the box office, and what that means is when the game releases, if the game making money, then yeah, I think that it's going to cultivate more. I think in the cases like that or the IO game, they were all test beds for possible acquisitions. It's probably even been spoken about in that regard. That's how I think that Xbox is going about that certain things like acquisitions and talent. Um, you buying up talent and stuff like that. I personally think that they're going to get Crystal Dynamics first, and they'll cut a deal with Square Enix. They'll get Tomb Raider possibly. They'll pay them some money, and then I think Bungie is also the other guy that Phil's comments recently on that. It just shows that Phil's confident, but he has a right to be confident. So in that regard, I think that they would work together easily. I mean, it would be I think they would give them their autonomy. So for my first two prediction picks are Crystal Dynamics and Bungie, and if they get those two, do they really need more? And they might have to restructure. Bethesda always seems like it's going to be on its own, but you can't have it where it's like Xbox Game Studios with Bungie, Bethesda, and Capcom. You know what I mean? You have to have some kind of unity there. But Crystal Dynamics will be acquired by. They'll just merge into the initiative, and they'll also get the Tomb Raider IP. That's probably what they'll work on right after that. So it's fun times, and I like that type of purchasing because it's safe and it's fun. But Game Pass is going to have to be fed, and when the new year comes, that's what they talk about. Let's spend money, and I think they got him and they got Sarah Bond duo punch that I think Satya listens to both of them and respects both of them, obviously, and their vision, I think, is both clear. To take gaming the furthest it can go. To hit the last person, which is big, big thinking. But overall, yeah, I could see I could see some money being thrown around. I mean, they're picking up people actively too. Like they picked up that guy from Warner Brothers. I posted it on Twitter. The guy's like he was from Warner Brothers, and he was on NetherRealm. He was the
Oh yeah,
executive
yeah.
producer. I mean, obviously, that's like Killer Instinct. Either that or he's working on something. But they're actively picking up artists. I remember there was a time when they were looking for artists. It was like hard to get them, but seems like that's kind of fixed itself. But overall, they're growing as studios and becoming bigger and bigger. And we used to talk about that a lot when we were like in the rebuilding stage. But yeah, Xbox game game studios is, I think, gonna get uh two more big pickups and then might be done.
Mm-hmm.
Pick up maybe a small, a 30 would probably be the max, right?
Well, I mean, they have quite a lot as it is, and then these studios have also separate teams as well, and other
Right.
separate studios within themselves. Like, people forget the size of what it's grown to now. Not just with the Bethesda, the ZeniMax studios, but even just the individual studios that they picked up prior to that. I mean, they're growing. I mean, look at Obsidian. Obsidian is a rock star right now with the kind of stuff they're producing. In Exile, growing. Like you said, there's been all kinds of growth across these studios. I never thought I'd say this, but maybe I'd rather not Xbox Game Studios get too bloated, right? Too big for its own good, because a certain degree of focus needs to be there, right? Overseeing these studios, like you were saying,
Right.
Tim. Um, so that's why you have the Bethesda division overseeing their stuff. That's why and then Xbox Game Studios proper. And then who knows? I mean, we always talk about if they would go after a few Japanese studios as well. I mean, there's always something in the mix,
I think
but.
Phil's tried really hard
Mm-hmm.
at that. I I remember, him saying that was like, I remember even reading it saying, in 2019, before anything that he, or just right after the 8 studios that they purchased or whatever. Um, he said he was really looking at the market. I don't think it's easy. I think there's a lot of friction there. So whether it be red tape, I even heard there was a law that you can't sell, but I don't know. I didn't look into it, obviously, and I could have been, made up, but it seems like that it's harder than usual. And I spoke about this on previous podcasts here. Like the only way I think you can embed yourself is to, have people working for you that come from there, and you know build it up, embed it. Otherwise, I don't know. But it seems like Xbox Series S is doing good over there. So never know.
Yeah.
It's odd though, because Bethesda got Tango. Like, was that like? Does anyone know how hard of the process that was?
You know what? I don't really
That's
know.
interesting. That I didn't know that they bought Tango.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Ah, I didn't know that
So,
history.
how hard could it be? I mean, Bethesda's not like a Sony, Microsoft, or Nintendo kind of publisher. So, I don't know. I mean, I feel like if they got one, who knows, right?
The only thing, listen, if it was, listen, I think we both agree that, we'll all agree that if Crystal Dynamics gets picked up, I don't think they're going to stay Crystal Dynamics. I think they would be absorbed by Initiative. And basically, Initiative would be their action hero, Tomb Raider division that makes games. You know what I mean? Um, so
Interesting.
or they could say Crystal Dynamics, and Bungie would what would you do? How would you play Bungie now into this whole thing? Are they going right onto Xbox Game Studios? I know we're completely like hot stoving this, so don't take us seriously, or at least don't take me. But I'm just thinking out loud. Um, but we don't know shit. But if it did happen, it would be pretty cool. What would Bungie be? Would they be like Xbox Game Studios, Bungie, and Bethesda?
Right, right. Well, I mean, they've gotten pretty big. I mean, obviously, Destiny has made them a huge wad of cash, and they've expanded themselves. So, I mean, it could be a situation like that, Tim.
What about 343 Bungie? Merge them. They wouldn't work together, I don't think, right now at this point.
Eh, I don't know about that. Because I mean,
Maybe
a
two
lot of
separate
those.
divisions.
Well, the thing is, a lot of those 343, like a lot of them, a lot of them that went to 343 are ex Bungie employees. I'm not saying a majority of the
You're
studios,
right.
but a
You're
good
right,
portion of
though.
them are.
Well,
So
listen, I know for a fact that there's a very deep connection from the workers, even in Xbox, to Bungie because they grew up. They were friends, and they were all at one time the same thing. So they had a lot of friends. Those people that were involved with Microsoft at the time, they had a lot of friends that were from Bungie. They stayed friends. Obviously, they didn't let them changing their company get in between them. So they still are. They still talk. And there's many cases like that. I think Bungie and Xbox is very deeply woven. And I kind of loved Phil's answer. Phil's answer is like, yeah. And you know why? Because I have confidence. I'm good at what I do. You guys run yourself. He's like, he has a good way. Like at this point, it seems like he's dealing aces. But that was, in my opinion, a great answer. And I thought Tom Mahler was like really, he was against Phil's statement. He's like, I don't agree with Phil, and we're leaving him because we want our games on all platforms. So he should put it on. I didn't even read what he wrote, but um, it's pretty evident that he talked about him. Is my point. So we'll see.
yeah, we should get Tom on again, Thomas Mahler. Oh man, need to get the pipe smoking man back again for sure. I'd love to hear his opinions on all this. Like you said, he did just come out with some comments regarding this stuff. Like always a fun guy to to listen to, and again, it was a fun time having him on. Was it just over a year ago? So, look.
I always said they'd keep a Bungie had it been Phil and not Don.
Mm.
Well, yeah, because Xbox they're promising autonomy. I think Don was going to be a little more restrictive, like you got to keep making Halo kind of thing. And yeah, I can imagine Bungie didn't want to do that forever.
It was worse than Halo. Don Matrix was obsessed with the Kinect. He abandoned a lot of single player experiences and was trying to force developers to create content for the Kinect because the Kinect was like his baby. That was a piece of hardware that was created under his leadership, and he didn't want it to see it fall to the wayside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't want to play Halo Connect Edition myself.
Oh, yeah. Well, you guys remember the Halo anniversary, the Halo CE anniversary, and they had the Kinect inputs in it, and I was like, does it really need this? Like, I mean, I actually really liked the Kinect. There was a few games that I thought were pretty solid.
The Kinect. I loved the Kinect,
Yeah.
and I don't know. It was just I tried to make it work, and I was so impressed by it. I used to say, I just, at that time, I think what sold me was freaking Milo, Project Milo. Sold me. That, I thought that was so cool at the time. But yeah, I think Don, he just at one point just said all Connect games. And we were thinking that was a great era. At that point, 360 was a disaster. And then Xbox One took over, and then it was just, and now we're here. So they withstood that. They took an image hit, and it says 5 years to recover. That's what it did take. So
You don't miss the days of controlling your Xbox like a Doctor Strange movie, waving your hands and making shapes in the air?
I mean, personally, I mean, I see what you're saying, Centurion, because it does sound pretty goofy.
No, don't get me wrong. I'm a huge sci-fi nerd. I watched Star Trek as a kid. You walk in the room, computer lights come on. Oh, hey, get me something to drink. Oh, play some music. Tell me what's going on. That's like, don't get me wrong. That sounds cool, but then when it's implemented in the way it was, it kind of went off as like almost. It was very. It did seem kind of goofy.
Well, to be fair, like again, like I just liked it as an option, not their sole focus, and that's what they went off the deep end for, and that's what a lot of people punish them for with the Xbox One, the initial reveal. But I mean, a lot of people forget that a lot of like the Xbox 360 Connect games, they sold really, really well. If you look at some of the top selling games for Xbox, Dance Central was a hit. Connect Sports hit. Adventure hit.
Huge.
Even some of like some smaller titles too, like
and they were cheap to make too. So that wasn't like you look at the games that are made today, they're like elaborate. There's tons of voice acting, there's tons of physics for people speaking and cutscenes, and then with the Kinect, it was like, hey, get up and dance around, and that was it. Like that's all you had a program for, and you know, very shovelware and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was cheap to make, and then they had all this return. But the thing was is that the games at its best, it wasn't. It was okay. It was fun, but nothing that you're gonna do every day.
I guess the Kinect did not go over well for me, or maybe where I lived, purely because where I lived, one of the main things to go do was to go to the casino, because it was like the only thing you could do, and they had a full-blown stand-up arcade in there, and they installed Dance Dance Revolution, the actual full-size version of the game where you basically stomped on the tiles on the floor. And I just remembered the lines for that game were so god awful. It ruined the experience of going to the arcade, because you couldn't get to any of the other machines, because the line would just be wrapped through the arcade trying to play Dance Dance Revolution. And at that point, when I saw it on the Kinect, I was like, nah, that's not for me.
For some reason right now, Centurion, I'm picturing, have you ever seen the movie Grandma's Boy? And
I've heard of it.
yeah, there's a scene where like it's video game oriented movie, but like there's a scene where like a guy's taking on somebody and it's a Dance Dance Revolution challenge, and they go freaking nuts over it. So
oh dude, there was some people that would literally go, like they would have like competitions where you'd see that, because it was two platforms next to each other, and literally you'd see these guys start having basically a stomp off, because they're not even dancing at this point. They're like stomping on the tiles on the floor. It was almost kind of comical to watch.
oh man, yeah, I remember the DDR days. very.
But
do you guys remember the first thing they showed off at the reveal for Xbox One? Price is Right. That's the first thing they let off with. Drew Carey.
Oh, really? I did not remember.
Yeah,
that.
that's when you know it was going downhill.
I can't
See,
remember.
All I remember
Yep, that
is
was
the
the
guy
first
saying,
thing they're like, "Hey,
they
look,
had-
you're watching TV,"
yeah, that
and
one
it was Price is Right.
Yeah, they had some really
TV,
bad
TV, TV.
E3s.
Yeah, but wait,
But that was a crazy one because go ahead.
oh no, sorry. I just like to add to what you're saying, Tim. That's what pisses me off so much, is that they lead off with that, but then like I thought they had an amazing E3 otherwise, just because of the games that they friggin' showed off. Killer Instinct, Rise, Sunset Overdrive. I was like in awe of the games. It's just the bloody messaging to start off with was so terrible. But yeah, continue.
No, I mean it's just I agree. You know. So,
Yeah, but either way, guys, like these different relationships that they're forming with studios. I mean, we've been over it, whether it be IO and other studios. Obviously, we had started off talking about Avalanche. There's
went down a rabbit hole, but yeah.
Oh no, we did. It's just like,
Yeah.
what I'm suggesting here, though, I mean, they're building these relationships, they're testing out these studios. Again, Avalanche isn't just one studio; it's a couple of different studios.
Yes.
Like there's Avalanche, there's a Systemic Reaction, and then there's a third one, if I'm not mistaken. But again, it would be a very large purchase on their part again. But
Yeah.
what you're getting, though, I mean, you're getting some really good teams that worked on, again, Rage 2, Just Cause. Like, again, they'd be picking up some really decent IP. And to cap that all off, they're working on an exclusive currently with them, Contraband, which we should find out more about soon, I would think. And I don't know.
And they're the Just Cause 3 developer, is that correct?
Yeah, Just Cause, yeah.
Yeah, listen, it'll be very interesting. I hope.
Well, I
hope
heard.
it's one gen, only next gen, and it has all the things like velocity and has everything built into it.
I just want
I've
to
heard-
say. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you can go real quick.
Oh, quick thought. I just want to. My personal prediction. I think they're gonna. I think that if they are gonna be picked up by Xbox, the negotiations will depend on the, say, Metacritic score and engagement of Contraband. Like that will influence any, say, dollar amount of any possible acquisition. So it's entirely dependent on how good Contraband is. In my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you there too. I think that that's really what's going to make or break it, and I think shortly after, if it really impresses them, I think they have a number they want to hit, but if it's truly impressive or whatever, then you're gonna get some offers being made. There's those types too where they could stay friendly. Like there was times where I thought that Xbox would buy Remedy, but
Yeah.
it never happened. I mean,
Mhm.
just for me, I just feel like the Crystal Dynamics just seems way too obvious. I mean, their own company is talking bad about them, and basically they were doing nothing. I mean, like, and then that Spider-Man thing, which
I love that.
I don't know if they put the best effort into there because that just looked funny to me.
Did you hear the comments from the developers over there on the Spider-Man stuff?
What did they say?
I forget where I read it, but the guy came out and said that they focused more on content that everyone can play and enjoy rather than putting a full amount of development dedication into creating an exclusive piece of material that was only going to be on one platform. So pretty much they only put minimal effort into the Spider-Man thing because it was something that PlayStation, they wanted Spider-Man to be across all the platforms, and PlayStation made it to where no, it's going to be exclusive. And at that point they were like, well, screw it, we're just going to put minimal effort into it because there's nothing in the contract that says that he has to be this polished version of gloriness. We're just going to give you the bare minimum. And they even said they put more effort into the DLC that came out along with Spider-Man because everybody could play that expansion.
Interesting, yeah.
But I heard you asking on RDX about oh my gosh, Generation Zero.
Yeah.
Generation Zero, I feel like, is a little bit of a gem for Avalanche because I've played it with friends. Don't get me wrong, I haven't played the entire game. It is a lot more fun with friends. But if I'm correct, the team from this particular part of Avalanche, Systemic Reaction, had a little bit of Call of Duty experience and they enjoyed doing it, and they decided they wanted to do something on their own. And that's where Generation Zero came from, which is a not post-apocalyptic, but it's basically, it takes place in a small little part of Sweden where robots have taken over, and you and your friends who have come back from a camping trip come back to an entire abandoned part of Sweden, and you go through house to house collecting resources, weapons, finding notes and other points of interest to get, it's more like a gather your own story to figure out what happens. It's not like there's dialogue or anything like that. It can be a fairly sparse open world, unless you have friends and then you start engaging the robots and learning the weak points on the robots, because you just can't shoot them wherever you want. You got to study them and know where their weak points are at. Otherwise, you can waste a lot of ammo on one robot. But I knew this was going to be the precursor to Second Extinction, which was an awesome game when me and my friends played it. I need to play it more. I had a lot of fun playing Second Extinction. I feel like Contraband is going to be an amazing game because of the talent and the know-how that's involved in creating a game like that from Generation Zero and Second Extinction. Contraband is going to definitely be something very special and unique to Game Pass, which is where I feel Avalanche Studios and what they do is they really do have a knack for creating almost something on the scale of games as a service, which is perfect for Game Pass. It gets people to constantly want to come back and try the game and keep in the service, which is where I feel Avalanche would be a good get for Microsoft, because I feel they do kind of fit the bill for Game Pass style games.
Right, right. Yeah, you make some pretty good points there, Centurion. Like, I think they're a very competent group of studios there, and I mean, we'll see in the in the coming months and year ahead. I am really looking forward to hearing more about Contraband, and again, we get to play it day one in Game Pass, so we can definitely test it out. It's a multiplayer title, and yeah, I mean, I like pulling off heists, so it's gonna be a fun one.
I feel like it's gonna be like something like Payday.
Yeah.
Where you and your friends basically come together, you plot a heist, you get, because I know there's some driving involved, and that's where I just really feel that. Yeah, I feel like it's like, I hate to kind of rip it off and say this, but I feel we're gonna have like almost like a Fast and the Furious style gameplay, where you and your friends come together, pull off a heist, and get the hell out of there while all hell's breaking loose.
Yeah, I think it could be something like that. I've heard that you go to Destiny. I don't know. I don't remember exactly, but it sounded like it's going to be that type of game, and I don't know. I have to see the game and see what it's about. I don't really know that much, but I hope it's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and hey, well, we'll find out, right? Like, hopefully they show us a new trailer, in the months ahead, maybe next E3. Who knows? I mean, then again, the Game Awards are around the corner, so you never know what will be shown. We've been hearing some inklings of a few things, but hey, we'll find out soon on that one. Let's see, guys. Just checking the chat here. Dirt Griggity with $5 US super chat.
Yeah.
Dirt, buddy, thank you very much. And he says, shout out to the real Xbox fans that was still Team Xbox during the difficult Xbox One gen. Halo and Forza is just the beginning. This gen will be fun. Smart man here. Smart man in the chat. Yeah, Dirt. It's amazing. There's been a lot of flip-flopping going on, I've seen, with some YouTube commentators and on social media. Some people seem to be warming up to the Xbox brand again. It's just kind of funny because they're the ones kind of stealing the show right now with the games, whether it be Forza Horizon or, again, Halo in the next couple of days.
Game Pass every day. Game Pass. Oh, here's a game. Play this. Oh my God, I can't play it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So much. There's so much of my thing. You know what I mean? It's like every day's like that.
Well, we were just talking about that right before the show, right, Tim? About backlogs and stuff. I know. I feel like I keep saying it each show, but it's like, and it's not a bad thing. It's just that's just how it is. Lots of games to play in too little time. Especially right now.
I feel like having a backlog is like pretty much a necessity now when you're a gamer, because when you go through those small little 1-2 month lulls between games that have your interest, you got your backlog.
Yeah.
Well, that's just how it is.
To get lost. At least my backlog is. I wanna finish. I started Far Cry 6, and I liked it, but anything that I hate to say it, even Forza 5, which I love. I just love the way Halo plays, that it's the only thing I want to play. and it just I feel like I'm getting better and better, and I'm getting to be good big team battle. And I haven't even experienced it where you're playing on a team serious with people with communication, but just the way the game plays is just amazing to me. I mean, you're blowing up things, and the sound design is absolutely unmatched. And that won't bring up any review scores. You won't get that a review score on that, but it probably won't even be mentioned. But man, listen to that game when you have the plane overhead and you could hear it's on your back and they're shooting at you, and it's just so amazing. People complaining about the footsteps. I agree. You could probably fix that though, but overall sound design is impeccable.
Hmm. I mean, I plan on having a review out for Halo Infinite probably like a week and a half or two after its release because I want to get a lot of time with it. But I do touch on audio stuff in all my reviews because,
Right.
like to me, Tim, like it's an important aspect of the game, whether it be soundtrack or just the way again, like the general overall sound design is like, I like a good thud to my guns, my weapons, and voice acting as well. I like a decent voice acting cast as well. So I like to touch on that stuff, but
Careful on the reviews, because apparently to do a review on Halo, you've had to roll the credits on every other possible Halo game before then.
actually, Centurion, no, like honestly, I mean, I do have that pedigree. Like I can say, I mean, I played multiple Halos dozens of
No, I'm
times.
just
So,
poking. I'm poking fun at how
but
people are losing their minds over
No,
people reviewing the game, and apparently they're checking their gamer score and all this other stuff to see if they're even allowed to talk about it. And it's like, dude, really?
Oh yeah,
Uh,
with that girl on IGN.
oh,
Yep, that's the one I'm talking
oh,
about.
that's
Yep,
bad.
that girl did not deserve that, but hey,
Oh.
she came out strong.
yeah,
Oh,
Miranda, right?
Well, and that douchebag didn't even say sorry. He just kept. I know that guy's a mental case. He's been tweeting me since 2000. We block each other now, which thankfully he is. But I know exactly who he is. He's like Philly 3, guy or whatever. Prophet, Sony Prophet, and
Oh,
he's
Yeah.
saying some stupid ass shit. Where in any world, if you didn't have the internet in front of you, you'd be thrown against the fence.
He said something
Whatever.
about Alana too. He was
Yeah,
like,
but he was
that
like,
he
oh,
basically
that
her,
bitch, that bitch. I mean, it was like really crazy. Um,
yeah.
and then the girl's like, I've been playing on a premium too. I've been playing for the last 21 hours.
Yeah, she said she was what her rank was. I forget it was.
Yeah,
Did
you
she
just
say it was
saw
like
the-
platinum?
Oh,
Like-
Stella, dude,
Yeah,
she's
I
an
forget who it
Apex.
was.
She's an Apex Legend commentator. That chick
Yeah.
will literally pwn somebody in a
It was
first-person
Stella.
shooter. Dude, I'm sorry, but that guy had a sock account, and yeah, it's kind of funny. He didn't respond when I put it on Twitter that, hey, this sounds like your sock account because this sock account is making the exact same argument that you're making. Is this you? And then obviously, I'm sorry. I hope he's listening, but 18 divided by 4 equals 6. Like you have to watch his video to get that joke.
oh man, I just don't give those accounts like any attention whatsoever. I just like ignore or move on because obviously they're just using
Yeah, but that's
anonymity.
wrong.
No, it is.
And
It
I
is.
don't want to ever see that on Xbox side. You deserve to be, that stuff angers me because that you're talking out of line. And the girl was very nice, and she was just like, she made me laugh because she just answered. She's like, I'm a level 21, and you could tell that like he was trying to paint this like he was mad because she scored 90 or whatever, and I think Stella was a 9.5 too.
Hmm.
And he lost his mind because he's a Sony Prophet fanboy, and he lost his mind and he started being abusive to her. But what I didn't like about it is that he didn't like apologize even after when she came back. Sometimes you got listen. I don't know. You got to respect people a little bit better than that. And he's like cursing her out. And
Person, he
usually-
has said some pretty vulgar stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
and,
I
like-
mean, I was just like, man, I couldn't even speak that way to my wife playfully, let alone do it to somebody that I don't even know. I was completely shocked.
You're not a jerk off like he is. So that's basically what it tells you. The moral of the story is fanboys sometimes do stupid things, but kind of have some common sense about it. And if you do get called out, and maybe you got a little emotional, it's okay to say sorry that maybe I was a little out of line. That's what I hate, is that never happens. That only happens in real life when you have the the threat of somebody punching you in the face. That's when the real comes out. But on the internet, when you can hide, it's like, oh yeah, okay, I'll just hide I'll just my ego is bigger than that. Sometimes you took the wrong take or whatever, but kind of his abusive ways was annoyed me, as you could tell. But shout out to Stella. I'm glad she liked the game.
Well, dude,
I can see it. I gave it a 10. I said screw the progression. The game plays like a 10. It's a 10 gameplay, and everything else. I agree. The progression is, I just can't deduct points from it because I think the overall sandbox, the way the game plays, is absolutely phenomenal. It's a 10 of 10.
In Stella's review, she even commented on the battle pass, the progression, and she did criticize it, and she still gave it like a 9 out of 10, a 9.5 out of 10.
Don't quote me. I remember it was like a double. It was 9 overall for IGN, so that's the official score. But sometimes I don't know if it's like some of these places have a second take. I heard Stella gave it a 9.5, or I read that, but I'm not completely positive.
She was talking from a gameplay standpoint, because she's an Apex Legends commentator. One of the videos I watched, they actually pulled up her stats for Apex Legends and some of the other games she's played. Dude, she's a crack shot. Honestly, let's just say, you really got to know your stuff to be a commentator for any esports game and to be a commentator for Apex Legends esport. And the one reason that if you try to go on her Xbox gamer card, you're not going to find very much, because actually she's predominantly a PC player, which is where she has probably consumed more of these games that we're aware of. And that's why I think it's also even funnier that you sometimes can't judge a book just based on their gamer card, because that gamer card, at least on the Xbox side, can go way further. You have Steam and other PC launchers that are implemented that don't show up on that card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't need to have every Halo game under your belt to review Halo Infinite. You just gotta be a good reviewer, know what to look for, to objectively judge the gameplay, the sound, the art, the AI, like that's in the end all you really need to do. And it seems like she hit all those notes. She is a good reviewer. She looked at the game from a objective standpoint, and you don't need to play previous Halos to do that. Yeah,
great, very well said.
Well said, guys. Yep.
And shout out to her. I doubt she's listening, but I did see that whole thing, and I don't think that's right. And nobody should talk to anybody that way, regardless. But whatever. The internet's a place where you can do what you want. It seems lately. So
yeah, just guys, have some manners. Everybody's willing to take a little bit of criticism.
I wouldn't take it that far.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's been times where I had arguments. I had an argument with Jeremy Conrad, and he blocked me. Blocked me, but I was wrong, and I admitted I was wrong. So sometimes you could, you take a hot take. You could, especially if you see it's going down the wrong way. You should just, save yourself or whatever. Have a little.
I'll say it right now. I'm very critical of Jeff Keighley. Everybody knows this. I don't always approve of how he conducts himself, but not at any time would I use vulgar language with him or just say totally heinous things. I would still show respect to the man, because he's obviously put a lot of time and effort to get himself into that position, which is in itself worthy of respect, because that's some dedication. But yeah, it is what it is. There's better ways to communicate with people and to debate without having to kind of go Neanderthal and just start saying crazy, heinous stuff.
Screw you, Centurion.
Oh, man, what the? I'll freaking start dropping F-bombs on this thing.
Yeah.
I'm just
I'm
teasing,
freaking
pal.
Cartman on everybody on this thing.
I love your avatar, by the way. It's awesome.
Oh, thank you.
You can,
Love
that's
that dude.
that's
Videos.
graphic god's handiwork right there.
Yeah, buddy.
Very good.
But yeah, guys. I mean, either way, like Xbox is in lots and lots of. I know we went down a few
We're just
different
in party
avenues.
mode. We're in Metacritic party. I've always listened on Twitter. I used to always do that. It was a Metacritic party when a big game came out. It started with like Gears, maybe 4. I don't know. I remember doing it on Twitter. We were all laughing. But I still, to this day, have Metacritic parties. And tonight, I am staying up till 3 in the morning to see what Halo does by hook or crook.
All I see is just this burned out battlefield with just carnage all over and just nothing but decay and waste. And you see the referee walking out, looks on both sides. You see the Xbox fans on one side, the PlayStation fans on the other. He just holds up that meta score up there in the air and just basically hurries up and hits the ground and lets everything just start flying.
Yeah.
Actually, Centurion, that makes a good segue because speaking of battlefields, we got some Battlefield stuff to talk about. And the latest iteration has, well, I mean, admittedly, it's had a pretty rocky start. Battlefield 2042, it's been, well, ridden with bugs and criticized, well, amongst other things, like a lack of like some content and, well, you know, quite a few different things. Well, it looks like EA is coming in quickly with a shakeup of sorts. Vince Zempella, the head of Studio Respawn, obviously he was a big part of Call of Duty as well. He has now been put in charge of the Battlefield IP as a whole, so I guess overseeing DICE. And we see the DICE general manager, Oscar Gabrielson, he's leaving. This is happening while the announcement of EA going into an expanded Battlefield universe. So lots of different stuff in motion here regarding Battlefield. Centurion Buddy, my fellow content creation maestro, what are your thoughts on this recent shakeup?
Well, let's just say it's a little bit more easier of a shakeup than I'm used to what EA does. EA normally just walks in and like, hey, grab your stuff and get out. We're locking the doors.
Yeah.
Definitely, I was actually wondering what they were gonna do with this whole situation with 2042 because I mean, their massive patches, they're calling it, fixed over 150 bugs that were running rampant in the game. And now we see, like you said, Vince Zempella or Zampala. I always pronounce names wrong. It's my thing. You know, let's really look at him. He's had Call of Duty experience. He righted the ship when it came to Star Wars games. I mean, like, DICE came out with both Battlefield and Battlefront and Battlefront 2, which was microtransaction pay to win hell. And they had to go back to the drawing board on that, and everybody was kind of burned out on EA doing Star Wars games, and all of a sudden we got Jedi Fallen Order under Vince, and oh my god, I mean, that was like a breath of fresh air for the Star Wars games, especially when it came to almost having like a Star Wars-esque Souls game where you actually had to have some strategy to the lightsaber battles. Loved his work for doing what he did with Titanfall. He definitely has a lot of things going for him, and with the success that he's had from Apex Legends, he definitely fit the bill on somebody that should be brought in to basically kind of help right the ship and also get this universe in line and find it some direction, because they really want it to be a very successful universe as a games as a service, where all the stories interconnect with each other and all the games kind of interconnect with each other. Now that being said, I just really hope that they're not going to be stretching Vince too thin, because not only is he taking over with Respawn, but he's also got a lot of projects going on at Respawn, among other things, and he also has to worry about Apex Legends. I just don't want them burning this man out, because, I mean, you know, you can be passionate for what you do, but when you're constantly being on the grind, I mean, you definitely got to keep your eye on the ball, otherwise you can get burned out real quick. But Vince isn't going to be alone. He does have, forgive me, this is where I'm trying to find it. One of the gentlemen that actually helped do that did a Halo game,
Yes.
who started his own. Let me see. I'm trying to find his name.
Marcus Lato.
But Marcus Lato, yep, he did. Now he did a Halo game, and he started his own development studio, and they're going to be helping do some of the stuff for the Battlefield universe. But also we have Ripple Effect, who is also behind the 2042's Portal mode, that is also going to try to work on more experiences for this universe. So he actually does have some help, some other studios outside of DICE that have been brought in to help kind of get this universe going. I'm just very curious on what this is going to look like in the long run. But I'm definitely going to say that they got bit in the hand real hard, just like Call of Duty was. We all remember when Call of Duty came out with a Call of Duty game that had no single-player campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that went over like a lead balloon. I was shocked that Battlefield tried to do it. But definitely they have already made comments that they are working on narrative-driven stories to go into this universe, because you just can't have it as this giant multiplayer whatever it is. And even then, like, there's been a lot of stuff that's why I say whatever it is, because it feels like Battlefield 2042. I've heard a lot of people talk about, I know like Mav over on Fun Speculation likes playing it, Pong Soul likes playing it. They're happy with Battlefield 2042, but there's a lot more negativity about it, because the game, it honestly feels like, does not know which direction it's supposed to go to. Apparently it's supposed to be some post-apocalyptic thing where there's soldiers and storms and everybody's fighting each other, and then they come out with the Santa Claus DLC that just feels completely out of place. Like, it's like they tried to create something that belongs in Fortnite and put it into Battlefield 2042. Definitely I could see why they got Vince involved. And like I said in the beginning of this is completely different for me. I'm used to EA just coming in and throwing the "we're shutting the doors" hammer. They have closed multiple great studios. They have alienated other studios where a lot of the predominant talent that was at those studios, like at BioWare, moved on to bigger and better things at other studios. And that's where I just really hope that EA is able to kind of keep something together here with DICE, because DICE has some really good talent behind it. I did enjoy what they did when it came to reworking Battlefront 2. Have any of you played Star Wars Battlefront 2 since DICE kind of did the big rework on it?
No, I haven't recently.
Yes, they did the rework on it. Only because there was no like compensation for the people that were there from the get-go. So the way the progression system worked, and then they flipped it. So you would have been like, "Oh, I'm almost done with my progression," grinding it out because it was grindy at the beginning. And then they flipped it. And I'm like, "Oh, well, now I'm further away than I was." I don't know. That's why I didn't even finish my progression. I was like, "Well, that kind of screwed me."
So,
But
I will be truthful. I enjoyed playing the multiplayer with my friends. We did it day one.
yeah, the multiplayer was fire. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I knew what was going to happen the day I got to the head of the line at GameStop, because at that point I was still buying a lot more games physical. And the guy looked at me behind the counter and he's like, "Would you like to buy the starter pack?" "What do you mean starter pack? What the hell is that?" And all of a sudden he puts this little piece of paper on the counter that shows all the individual microtransactions that you could buy right then and there day one. And you're like, "Oh no, this ain't good." And you go home and you find out what it is. And yeah, a lot of us were disappointed. But we kept going back to it as time went on, and eventually they reworked it, and they did that massive overhaul. But they also introduced what was co-op mode, where you and I think like three of your friends, so you should have a squad of 4, where it's pretty much almost like a horde mode, but that's where you start the game, and it's basically hold the point, and if you can't hold the point, it keeps pushing you back. but you are accruing the battle points where you can buy the Jedi characters or vehicles. And, you know, it got really, really fun, especially playing against the computer, because it actually got pretty adaptive. I mean, like, the computer would know if you were holding one hallway, there was 2 other hallways that you could use to get to the point, and it would just start funneling all the non-playable characters on the computer side towards that point, where you would have to split up and kind of work with some strategy with your friends. Otherwise, it would just overwhelm you very quickly. And I feel the co-op mode became, at least for me, one of Star Wars Battlefront's shining gems, because that was where you had like a really good fun experience. You were able to play a lot of the characters where you know, because like, I mean, there was the guys when you would play multiplayer where they would just go get the hero characters, and you would never be able to play a hero character because they were always in use. When you play co-op mode, you didn't really run into that problem. It just was a much more funner version of the game, at least for me. And that's where I want to see DICE be able to right this ship. It just really stinks that I don't think DICE did this deliberately. I think DICE was really just trying to do what EA wanted. They wanted a great big games as a service style game that could be competing with Call of Duty and other games like Fortnite. But that's where it just felt like EA kind of put DICE in a position to push out a product that should have been pushed out years ago. I feel like that the ship has sailed on Battle Royale and Battle Royale style games on that concept, because, you know, Fortnite continues to kill it. They know how to keep their fan bases engaged with introducing new content, changing the maps, always putting in new skins. Call of Duty tried doing that with Warzone. They've got kind of a little bit of a foothold in their own right.
Mm-hmm.
But it just feels like this Battlefield 2042 was very late to the game, and they should have tried to do this years ago, but now it's not working out, and just like I thought it would, because people have they've already planted their flags in the ground on where they want to put their time into a battle royale style game. And it just feels like, again, Battlefield 2042 is going to have to be reworked, just like Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Mm-hmm. I mean, do you think that Vince Zempella is the guy for this job? I mean, obviously Respawn have been they've probably been EA's best studio ever since being acquired by them for consistency.
I think he'll be able to do it because he has a lot of leverage. A lot of leverage. We all know that EA loves force feeding the Frostbite engine
Whatever he
to
touches
any
is
developer.
gold.
Yes, and they love force feeding the Frostbite engine to any developer under their umbrella, except for Vince Zempella came out and like, no, I'm using, what's the word? I'm forgetting. Unreal Engine on Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. And that shocked everybody. It's like, whoa, they're using Unreal Engine. They're not using Frostbite. And we all know that Vince has some pull over on EA. He's one of the executives over there. If I'm right, he even sits on one of the EA board over there. And that's where I feel when it comes to being able to implement something different into the game, Vince will be the guy, because at this point, let's just be upfront. I don't really see DICE being able to get through to any of the EA executives. That's where they need Vince to be able to come in and be like, no, this is what we need to change. This is what we should implement. And we should also try to do this. And that's where I really feel Vince will be able to help give the DICE developers some voice to what they're trying to do.
Right. MLD buddy, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Like, obviously Zempella's been who's a big part of Infinity Ward and Call of Duty back in the day, and he's done some really awesome things with Respawn. Do you think that with Vince overseeing the DICE, that he'll be able to implement some really positive changes on them?
I really do. Like, I have nothing but respect for Respawn and him especially. Like, he's a very, very talented guy. So if anyone can do it, it's him. It's just unfortunate with the Battlefield series. Like Battlefield 5 just had a rocky start and lost a lot of players. And now with this one, no campaign. But you think without campaign, the multiplayer would be perfect, but it seems a little half baked with all these bugs, and it's a little disheartening. So I'm not surprised that EA is looking to restructure this. Put a new set of eyes on it, and just right the ship. So. I personally played the game back when it was like the beta weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it wasn't for me. Like I felt like it was way too like I was just spending 90% of my time just running, and by the time the firefights happened, I got shot by somebody I didn't even see. Like, and then you respawn, you spend more time running. Like, I don't know. It just seemed like it seems like they got their work cut out for them. And then you see videos online where the physics are a bit off, like are a little bit wonky. The destructible buildings aren't what people expected. I don't know. I feel like it's good. Like at least they're recognizing the issues and they're trying to fix it. So it's good that they're doing that. So I'm hopeful for the next one.
I think you pretty much said it. The next one, hopefully that's a campaign. I think that they should release with a campaign.
Well, what gets me too, Tim, is that they had an extra year of development time than normal. EA did give them a little bit of leeway.
Maybe COVID.
Yes.
Maybe a lot of things like.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that is true, yes, and that has affected development for games big and small, of course. Obviously, Halo and so on. But again, it's just like the amount of content that came with the game.
Very little. I agree. I mean, what is it? 7 maps?
It's something like that. Yeah. I mean, you could argue that they are like really large maps, and you can segment them and so on for different modes, and that is true. But at the same time, it's just like there is a lack of
Halo's out too. That's killing it too. I think the bar's a little raised for the first time in a long time, and Vanguard and BF, they taking a step back. They'll come back. Call of Duty is you can always win with that, but you can always come up with something good. But right now, Halo's taking a lot of the eyes and what people comparing it to. I mean, I had one disconnect out of like 40 games. I had one disconnect from Halo. Think about that.
Yeah.
So I played 40 multiplayer games without a hitch, and then I had one that had disconnect. I mean, that's pretty stable. And I heard that Battlefield is very buggy.
I'm fortunate to have met some great people in the community, and I get to play games with them every now and then. I won't say who, but I got to play a game co-op with another friend of mine that I've met on Xbox, who is actually invited to the private beta before they did the beta for everybody that pre-ordered the game. And it was like a private invite-only beta, and they even told me this game needs to be delayed. It's bad. It's real bad. And then the other beta came out, and it was the same story, and then the game got delayed. And so that's where I thought it was really interesting. I've heard from multiple people that the game needed to be more time in the oven, and it's still launched.
Well, their loss, Halo's gain. That's how I see it.
Yeah. I mean, guys, I do genuinely really like the Battlefield franchise, but, ever since Battlefield 5, I've just been kind of turned off by the series personally. I don't really like the general direction DICE has gone in. So whether it be content-wise or just marketing decisions, I mean, there's a few different ways like you can go about it, but either way, I do believe that EA will right the ship, at least I hope so. With Zempella at the helm, I do have a lot more faith in the franchise going forward, and I don't know. Again, we'll have to wait and see how he writes this ship, but I find it very interesting that, again, Marcus Leto, he's in an EA-backed studio. He's going to be working on the Battlefield universe, and this universe is going to be expanded in a few different ways. So, again, time will tell, but I'm hopeful for Battlefield, and I know many people that would again just love to see Battlefield in a great place. So fingers crossed. And yeah, like you said, MLD, Halo is shaping up to really steal the show right now. Guys, let's move on to the last topic for tonight. And Xbox has announced a new feature for XCloud. Earlier this week, Xbox unveiled the Clarity Boost, which, as the name suggests, it allows for more clarity to any game streaming through the XCloud service. Shockley, buddy, I know how much you're into like all the tech stuff and whatnot. You like trying all that stuff out. I haven't had my chance to test out the XCloud stuff, but what do you think of Xbox trying to improve the stream quality to XCloud?
Yeah, it's definitely great that they keep focusing on getting that better and better, because I think that's where they're going to really have a edge here soon. Sure, you can stream with PlayStation Now, but you can only stream up to like PS4 titles. No PS5 versions are being streamed. So we'll see if they move that along with like some of the soon-to-be PS5 exclusives. But yeah, it's definitely I've seen them ramp up mostly through this year. I think it was like earlier in spring there was like a substantial difference that I was seeing when I was like streaming like Dragon Quest and a few other games, to the point where I'm like, I can on my phone, especially on a smaller screen, you're getting a very similar experience, or one that you wouldn't care too much if you're losing like maybe a little bit of fidelity because it's so small, your eye's not really going to pick it up. But when you're streaming on like big TVs, like they've done with console streaming and PC streaming, that's where it's gonna be a lot more noticeable. So if they can get that down, and I've tried it with the alpha ring that I'm currently in, and when I was playing like Psychonauts and I went from native to streaming, I'm like, I'm sure I could find a difference if I stare at here long enough, but I'm like, when I just flip back and forth between them, I don't even really notice what was different about it, other than maybe some HDR, but a lot of people aren't going to even care about that. But like, if they can get that to that point, then the general consumers, they're going to like, oh, okay, I don't even need to buy it, get the 1S for a $300 console. Mm-hmm. Soon you'll be able to just like stream, or if you have a PC, you can just do that. It saves you even more money than just trying to get a 1S and save some money there. But yeah, it's definitely great that they keep pushing, and then hopefully it just gets even further and further where it's like there's really not much of a visual difference unless you're pixel counting. But yeah, it's definitely great to see them keep pushing that forward.
Yeah, because I did see some picture quality tests, like Tom Warren from The Verge. He had posted some stuff with the sliders, and I mean, for the most part, like, I mean, they do look pretty good. Like, obviously with the clarity boost there is a slight difference, as you're saying, but I mean, the overall quality was pretty good to begin with. But it's kind of nice that they're doing visual boosts like this. If I'm not mistaken, though, the only downside is that it can only be accessed through the Edge browser, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, please correct me if I'm wrong.
You are correct.
Yeah, it's correct. But I mean, the Edge browser is pretty much like the top browser right now. Like, it's basically Google Chrome, but with less issues right now. That can all change because they kind of trade places from being who's the best at browser. But
interesting.
Really, you would rate it that high?
I heard Microsoft
Edge.
Yes, but like it's
the Internet Explorer was terrible. No, that's the difference. But Microsoft Edge, it's way better. That's what my company's using. That's what a lot of people are using. It's basically Google Chrome, but it's even more stable. It has less issues because now Google Chrome has been like the staple for so long that now it's probably just because of people hacking and all that stuff. Like, it's gonna get, but now Edge is kind of the new one on the block, and it just has a little bit better stability that most people think. So.
Whatever, I'll use Edge. I always liked Internet Explorer.
Plus, you get paid. Use those Microsoft rewards, get those searches.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you are right on that.
You can
Especially if you
basically
listen
earn
to
a quarter a
podcasts.
day with your
You know,
mobile and PC searches.
Nice.
So,
Yeah, I mean, guys, for the rewards program through Microsoft and Xbox, definitely take advantage of that if you haven't already, because you can slowly rack up some nice amount of points and put them towards some, some Xbox gift
It's ridiculous.
cards and so on. Like, you'd be surprised. Like, I
and
think
they'll
I'm-
just give you, like this month, they just gave $2 away, that monthly bonus. You just had to do a couple, like get a few achievements, just get any achievement. And then they gave you basically 2,000 points, which is $2 in Microsoft points.
Mhm.
Like, they just be giving money away.
Yeah, plus like I mean they have the easiest quizzes around that you can do, and again even just for doing general searches you get rewarded.
Mhm.
Like I mean that's the kind of stuff I like to see. It's you're doing things that you want, but then you're being rewarded for just using the platform in general. So I mean it's up my alley. But I just did like latch onto this too with cloud gaming. There seems to be more cloud gaming devices that keep getting announced. A few days ago, Razer and Qualcomm announced a new handheld, which is interesting. And according to our buddy Jez over at Windows Central, Microsoft is even thinking, apparently, about having its own portable gaming handheld. I mean, maybe a couple of years ago I wouldn't have thought that, but apparently they've been doing some serious prototyping on a handheld gaming system, and I mean really it makes sense considering Xbox's push with cloud gaming as a whole. Like guys, how would you feel about that? Do you guys think that Xbox will eventually announce like a handheld, like portable, like XCloud device of its own?
You're gonna call it the Zune too? I'm sorry, I had to do it.
Maybe
I
not.
had a Zune.
So did I. It was a gem, but it was a
You
brick.
poor
that
soul.
thing.
Actually, I've got two of them in a shoebox in the closet. I'm actually thinking about wearing that thing as a pendant one of these days on a big old chain, just to be like, yeah, that's a Zune.
Nice. Is it the Halo one?
No, I have a black one and a bright pink one. You could obviously guess me and my wife had matching Zunes.
Yeah, so you had the pink one. Gotcha.
Right, I had the pink one, definitely.
That's when that first iPhone dropped. And that's what I had. And I was like, this over a Zune, easy.
Oh yeah, that was back in like what 2007. Yeah.
Yeah, it was right around that time when iPhone was like, pretty much the top phone you could get. But when it was innovative,
I've been against Apple products just because I remember like my freshman and sophomore year in high school, I learned web page design on an iMac. Remember those great big tube television computers that had like the transparent shell around them with the little poppy colors on the speakers and the keyboard? And they were just so restrictive on what you could do with them. Like the flexibility wasn't there. And after I got exposed doing Cisco networking to like a much more powerful PC that had flexibility behind it because it wasn't locked down like an Apple product was, I just became hooked on everything other than Apple.
Interesting. MLD, I'm curious on your thoughts here. Do you think Xbox will eventually like test out or actually even release a handheld? Because I know that they've put it off for many years and they've been prototyping, and even like we've seen stuff like from years ago that they wanted to like have their own like Game Boy and stuff like that or something to compete. But do you think that they would go that far?
My gut is saying no. I don't know, because I feel like the whole thing with xCloud is, they put their games on every mobile device, Android, iPhone, tablets. I think it might more benefit them to make like an official Xbox themed, like kind of like the Switch, where you put like they clip on essentially to whatever phone or tablet you're using, like an official Xbox branded like controller for mobile phones and screens or whatever. I think that might be a little more realistic because otherwise, I don't know. I think if they do that, people will put it on a pedestal like they are with maybe like it'll be like competing with the Steam Deck. I don't know if that's the market they kind of want to get into right now. I think they have their hands full with the consoles, hardware wise. Oh, I think in the end, Xbox they're going. It's a software game right now. It's all about the software. As long as you can get Xbox on all these devices, you don't need to make your own. As long as you put it, wherever it exists already. As much as I would like one, I would just like I'd rather just get like an official branded controller scheme that clips onto my current phone. I would love that. Like I would buy that day one. So, but hey, if they did that, I'd buy that too. But
Yeah,
let's see where the resources go.
yeah, because that's the thing, right? Because like I'm not a huge fan of touch controls myself, but if I had something like what you're suggesting, I mean that would be nice. But I mean I'm not against them trying something. I mean if these third parties, if these large third party companies like Razer and so on are working on these, I don't see why not Xbox. I mean depending on the price. I mean just for something that. Again, I guess they would be competing with the Switch in a lot of ways, except again, it would just be for cloud gaming on the go, which I mean, I wouldn't be against personally. I mean, I wouldn't have to like I have a Surface Book, but I'd rather not take my Surface Book to work with me and stuff like that. And I just rather have like a dedicated like little handheld or something that could play like the XCloud games personally. That would be my flavor, but again, it depends on preference, but I don't know. I'd be curious. Tim, I don't know if you like. Have you heard anything about Xbox like experimenting with cloud gaming recently, like with like a permanent handheld?
Handheld, I think that they'll leave it to third party to do
Mm.
stuff like that. Basically, we're going to use a cellular connection, 5G, in your game. So I think I don't think they're gonna make a personal handheld if if that's what your question is.
Mm-hmm.
What I do think though is they'll be investing in cloud technology and type of games in the cloud. That's the thing with Sega was a big deal. Those should be very interesting. They are just so in it with anything cloud that just like with watching the stream on Edge exclusively with the clarity boost, they got their shit together, and there'll be a lot of investment, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping we get something like a uh, from the cloud gaming sector. uh, One of the things too that they've been talking about is people when they play touch, they play it much longer than when they play with your controller. What that says to you is that if you can get your game to run on XCloud with good touch controls, your game gets played a lot. You know what I mean? Like Hades, you could actually play, you know, Hades with on touch. I played about an hour. And that's the big thing when they start getting people doing that type of stuff, then it's like different ball game.
And it's that
But yeah,
responsive.
try it.
Mm-hmm.
It is that good. Just touch. So I want to try touch on a tablet. I guess I heard Psychonauts you could play on touch, and I heard Like a Dragon, my game of the year in 2020, I believe. Um, uh, Yakuza Like a Dragon you could play, and I can understand that,
Dragon Quest. Yeah.
because because you just I can understand that with the way with Dragon Like a Dragon. So, because I played it, I finished that game. I played it so many times. It was so crazy. What a game though! If you guys want to play a great game and venture on a fun trip, play Yakuza Like a Dragon. It's on Game Pass. If you're listening to the show and you just new or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
play that game.
That's on my backlog too. I have the
You gotta play it, dude. You would love it.
well, first Halo, and then I'm whittling down the
yeah.
backlog. I gotta do Halo.
Well, it seems like before we leave, it seems like there's a good Halo hype right now. So maybe my 86 was a little low. I hope it was. The party right now is like they're talking 80, 88, 90s. You know, like that's the feel I kind of feel like. What do you think, MLD? You think it'll end up with a 88?
I think so. That's my general prediction, 87, 88. I mean, come on. I mean, like Halo 5 got 84,
Yeah.
and that was a
Better
poorly
beat
received
that.
campaign and had loot boxes, pay to win loot boxes, and
Yeah.
people, yeah, and that got an 84. There's no way Halo Infinite is going to get worse than 84. So, will it get 90? I really hope so. But the pessimist in me says high 80s. But optimist, I hope it's a 90.
If it's a 90, that's gonna be big, bro.
Yes.
It'll be very big.
And can you imagine too? Because wasn't Forza Horizon 5 listed as a 90 or a 91, something like that?
92. It ended up as a 92.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but can you like back to back 90s? That would be insane.
It,
Yeah,
this,
that'd be 3
right.
games.
Yeah,
overall.
that's the, you know, I hope that could happen, but it'll be interesting to see. It seems like people are liking it, so you know that this guy Gene Park, whoever he's, I think he's a journalist. I don't know.
Yeah, a journalist for Washington Post, I think.
Yeah, he's talking about it a lot. He's talking about it's kind of like giving you a. I think he's going to be a high score.
Well, again, I'm probably gonna be a little more conservative with my pick, like with my kind of a score. I'll say 85 for now, but again, I would just rather be more pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, you'd rather
Um,
be wrong. You'd
mhm,
rather it be a 90. I think the same
Yeah.
goes for me. I'd rather it be
yeah,
if it got to a 90, forget about it. But I don't really. I think 88 is huge because you beat Halo 4, and now you have 343's best game, and then the next game could definitely hit a 90. But I could see, I don't know, man. I could see a lot of popularity with the game too, because it's very fun to play. But
yeah.
sometimes when that happens, it's takes over.
And the Halo guys who have gotten the early like time with the campaign, they're just raving about it right now. So I'm hopeful. Again, I'm really hopeful with how that plays out. You know, guys, like I have some time set aside like the next couple of weeks just to play the Halo campaign. I'm gonna take my time and just like slowly dive into all the crevices of the game, exploring and doing like different side things with the Marines. Oh, I'm looking forward to that. Definitely anybody in the chat, like post what you think the meta is gonna be for Halo Infinite. I'm expecting some good things, and I think the rest of the panel is from the sounds of it, but again, I guess we'll find out early in the morning as Tim's staying up all night for the meta party, if you will. But okay, I think on that note, we'll start to end things for the night. And, you know, as a bit of a recap, we covered PlayStation's Game Pass competitor Spartacus, Avalanche Studios, Vince Zempella taking over the reins on Battlefield, and much more. And again, guys, if you enjoyed listening to us tonight, then consider leaving a like, subbing to the channel, and to also share this out across various forms of social media. Let everybody know about the show. Now let's get to some of the outros. And Eric Shockley, buddy, I will start with you, my insightful friend. Good show. Where can everybody follow you at?
Yeah, as always, you can follow me at Shock Nero on Twitter, Easy Shock on Xbox Live. But yeah, good show tonight, guys, and yeah, definitely excited to hear what these reviews are at dropping at 3 a.m. So, but yep, good show.
Yeah, good indeed. Moving on to Centurion, buddy, pal. Really awesome show tonight. Where can everybody follow you at?
Yes, absolutely awesome show, guys. Really enjoy doing this with you every Sunday night. I always have a blast, always enjoy the conversations. For those interested in following me on what I do for my content, you can follow me on YouTube Xbox Live and Twitter. You can find me every Saturday night on the Shop Podcast. You can find me every Sunday night right here on the TXR Podcast. And also about every couple of weeks, me and my buddy from across the pond, Stubbs Gaming over in the UK, we like to get together, and we decided to start recording our conversations that we have about gaming, and we decided to launch like I guess you'd call it like a little offshoot podcast called Plastic Platforms, where we just discuss anything and everything gaming.
Oh, you see, I thought it was a podcast about shoes, but I obviously I'm off, so.
Well, they do make some shoes out of plastic, you know, we probably touch on, because it is plastic platforms, so yeah, platform shoes, I could see it.
Yeah, that's where I was going, pal.
No, well, I think because you type in plastic platforms on YouTube and you get like people that make crates. And I'm just like, really? This is a thing on YouTube?
Apparently. That's all good. I'm glad to see you and Stubbsy are doing a show. Stubbs is a good guy, by the way, guys. You should check him out. But moving on down the list here, MLD, buddy, pal, where can everybody follow you at?
Yeah, you can follow me at MLD Ghost on Twitter, gamertag Ghost MLD. See me trying to finish Fear 2 before Halo Infinite drops. Next week's going to be a podcast to remember. We got not only Halo Infinite to talk about, but also the Game Awards. So should be plenty to talk about. Looking forward to it.
By the way, how are you enjoying Fear 2?
I really like it, actually. The bullet time is pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like the AI especially, like they're flanking me. Like they're really surprising me for a game of this age. Like wow, like
Fear
I'm
always had
surprised.
great. Interesting to say that Fear always had, like you
Yes.
said, great AI. The fight when you fight them, they were smart.
Mm-hmm.
Good call there, MLD.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't remember. Did you still get the jump scares in Fear 2?
Yeah, they're still there.
Like the
Isn't
like the
there one guy
hallucinations?
that keeps following you around too?
Okay, I mean, after I saw someone who play like the Dead Space games, the jump scares in Fear 2, they're okay, but you know, they don't scare me.
I personally
I'm just
Oh no,
Huh?
sorry. I'm just like I personally love Fear because it's a mix of things. You got the this like the tight combat, but then you got like this like again it's a horror game, so you got like all this spooky stuff going on, like, and then you also have like crazy mech combat as well in certain sections. So it's like it's a whole lot of awesome things just melded into one thing. And I think that it works on a lot of different levels, and I would love to see another game sometime soon.
Oh yeah, I'm really glad Xbox added that to the BC program. I missed that gem back in the day, but I'm glad I got it now.
Yeah, yeah. All right, and let's see, Timmy. Good show tonight. I know you'll be staying up late, but where can the Xbox faithful follow you at?
On Twitter, XCloud TimDog. You guys can follow me here as well. Show tonight, Sunday, 9 p.m. RDX Tuesday, 8 p.m. Good night.
Well said, brother. And to round things off with the Xbox gang, I'm Invader, and you guys can find my content on YouTube over at Invader Gaming. I recently posted an Xbox controller unboxing. Check it out. And there is certainly more to come in the coming days. Have a good night, folks. We look forward to next week's show, as everybody was saying, as we will definitely be talking Halo, and more Halo, and probably some Game Awards stuff too, I would imagine. But until next time, guys, have a good one.